Okay, good. Well, good evening, folks. This is John Gluckman. It's a Thursday night. Let me get out of the, let's get into speaker view. Okay, there you go. It's Thursday night, so it must be the Ruby and Above call. This is the fifth in the series, and we don't know how many there will be. Hopefully, we'll have lots more people ranking up to Ruby, Emerald, Diamond, and above as part of Jana's Diamond Run to Vegas. So John Ward is one of the first Rubies in the company. He, I think, achieved it sometime back in March, if I'm not mistaken. And I've watched with interest some of the things that he's done in the way of marketing, especially around customers, and what he's been doing in terms of training his teams, including teams down in Australia with very early morning or late night Zoom calls. So without any more interruption from me, I'll let John tell us a little bit about where you were before you found iGalen, or it found you, and who it was that introduced you, how that process went, and just give us a quick little run up to going Ruby, and then we'll talk about what you're doing now.
Yeah, for some reason, the screen's freezing every once in a while, so I don't know if it's on my end or where it is. Just to
we're hearing you well. You're good.
Okay. All right, super. Yeah. So anyway, my name's John Ward. I'm down in Naples, Florida, and iGalen kind of found me. I recruited myself. I saw a post by a good friend, Brett Gurney, and I've been in health and nutrition for 18 years. I take my health seriously, and my wife has struggled with rheumatoid arthritis. So anything with inflammation, blood sugar, my antennas go up. And it was a Facebook post. And I've known Brett, for 10 years, and him and I have worked together in the past. And I reached out to him and said, hey, what's this? And he sent me a few videos, and that's all there was at that time. And this was in January. And so I had a few videos to look at, no website, nothing to look at, and started doing some research and signed up. And it's been a remarkable run since then. I mean, it was for my wife the icing on the cake as far as the product goes, and for myself, I couldn't be happier. I wasn't expecting anything from the product, but I had unexpected results and better sleep, some fat loss, more energy, more mental focus, those type of things. So it was really just it was just meant to be.
So one of the things that that I distinctly remember about you, I think you're the one that coined the magic happy pills.
Yeah, I did, and I know there's been some there's been some discussion about that throughout the months, but I've had also personally some struggles with bipolar. Mm-hmm. And so for Emulan, it's magical for me, what it's done for me. I'm the happiest I've ever been in the last 20, 25 years, and I'm 65 years old. And so they are truly magic happy pills to me. So yes, I coined it, and I use it a lot. And so do other people. And thanks to Mary even created a shirt and that says, ask me about magic happy pills. So, it truly means something to me deep down in my heart.
Yeah, well, it's a terrific marketing entry point. However, you have probably had a little bit of pushback from people who are a little bit more conservative or medically minded, who say you have to be careful with these kinds of claims. Tell us about some of that pushback.
Well, I personally haven't had any with people I talk to. because I have my story that goes with it.
Right.
But for the people here that are listening, there is a point of piquing someone's interest.
Right.
And that's, I spent 25 years in the automobile retail business. And when I came into network marketing 18 years ago, that was a struggle when I thought it was going to be a benefit. And, we're not salespeople. And one of the things that I have adopted and learned from someone a long time ago is the 5 Ps: that we prospect, we pique interest, we pass information, we get them to presentations, and
you froze on the last P.
No, I know. Yeah. So, and then we plug the next event, whether it's a conference call, whether it's Jana's training, whether it's one of these calls, doesn't matter. And then we promote an event like we have coming up in October, or with the events that are going to happen in September. So that when you learn that process, then it becomes easier, and then the magic happy pills kind of fits right into that process, because I've had more people, especially on social media, just say, I can't stand it anymore. What the hell are magic happy pills? Now, so, that's the entry point for me to introduce them to the power of Emulant.
So let me just have you go back for the benefit of all of us who are neophytes to your 5 Ps. Can you repeat them again and take a minute or so on each one? Because that was a learning moment.
Yeah. So look, the 5 Ps are prospecting. That's what we do as network marketers. You have to start building a list. And Mary's a great example of what's just happened. She's building a list, just following up and just dripping on these people. And all of a sudden, things are starting to happen. You continually build a list. That's the first step for a network marketer. Then we pique interest. We don't become so, medically, we don't become medical doctors. We're not. I mean, the only one that has any kind of credibility that I know of sitting here is you, John, and you're a chiropractor. So we just pique that interest, and we're just passing them information. And all I do is, once I pique their information, I give them a little bit of my story, and then I send them videos. And that's all I do. And then I try not to be the one, once I've piqued interest, not to be the one to do the presentation, because it needs. All right, we're back now. I don't know.
Presentation.
Yeah, okay. So you don't, and look, we don't really have a lot yet as far as presentations go, but if we can get a recording, or, we do some, but the presentation needs to come from third party. That may, at this point in time, may be a 3-way call, because now you've got more you've got 2 people involved, and you're not the expert. You're allowing the system and someone else to be the expert. So try and allow either stuff that Galen will provide us in the future, or there is a presentation on there, but you don't want to be the one doing it. And because it now people think, well, I can't do what he does. He just made the whole presentation. There's no way I can do that. But one thing you can do, and everyone can do, is prospect, pique someone's interest, and then pass them to the presentation. And then the third one is just continually keep them plugged into a system until they say yes. You know, most people, it takes 7 or 12 exposures for someone to say yes in today's world. And you know how, and some of them do their own research on their own. Like me, I did a lot of research on my own. And then the last thing is to promote the next event, whether it's a call, whether it's a, you know, the Run to Ruby, whether it's a doctor's call. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how small it is or insignificant that you might think it is. It's what your prospect thinks.
Yeah.
And it makes us, you know, look like we've got that we've got a lot going on, which we do, because we've got a powerful product.
So that's fantastic to have that summary that people will be able to go back and review. Just to piggyback on your point about, you know, the new person just being frightened of doing the presentation, Dory and Jana, you know, part of the big event that they're going to unveil on Tuesday is a tool that's going to take the newest, rawest person and give them something in their hands that's more powerful than anything we've ever had in that particular P on doing the presentation. So the rest of it, you know, everything that you've said is perfect. We're going to have a tool, you know, within a week or so that will really be an industry leading tool. So all of you that are not sure what that's all about, make sure you pay attention to some of the Facebook pages where Dory and Jana are asking you to register for an event on this coming Tuesday for something to do with presentation skills. So John, so I got my plug in for those guys.
See, you're promoting the next event.
Yeah, no, I always do, as you know.
Yeah.
So so then you've got a team that's, you know, moving across some oceans. Tell me a little bit about how it is that you got involved with Australia and how you supported your Australian team. And obviously we know what happened today and some of the strategy going forward in building that team. So go ahead and talk about Australia.
So one of the things that I'm a believer in is that as your team grows, as people enter your team, whether they've been introduced to you or not, you make a phone call or you make contact with them. So what happened to me is that, as you well know, in a binary, sometimes we bounce left, sometimes we bounce right. And so I had just gotten started with my team and building my weak leg, and I didn't really want to leave them, but my leg was outperforming the other leg. And so what I figured out was a way to contact every single person in that leg. And just so you know, you can take your backoffice.igalen.com/mine's mine's John Ward. Well, all I did, you have to have two screens open, like I use Google Chrome and I used Foxfire. You have to have both of them open. And once you go down through that downline, you know what their ID is. So you put their ID in at the end, and what pops up is their email address and a phone number.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I had several people on that side that I had never met, that I didn't put in, that I didn't sponsor. And so I made a decision. I had two things I could do. I could either call everybody, figure out a way to contact everybody, which I did, or I could just continue to build over there and leave my team that I had just gotten started. And so I chose to, which I've done in the past, I chose to figure out and call everybody, and I did. And so, you know, Australia team was not a team that I put together. It was people that fell under me. And, I just took a leadership role with them, and we started a couple calls a week. And it was just to keep people in the system, do some training, and keep them focused up until today. And we'll still do those. And, Beverly was on here. She's been to a few of them. Jeff's been to a few of them. And so I've supported them for the last, I don't know, guys, couple months anyway, 2 to 3 months. So, and help them close people and help them move forward. And I did that with other people. Louise is on here, I think, or was, and she's not someone that I sponsored, but she was in my downline. And so I'm a believer that you have to make that connection so you can ask questions, so you can help people. So many of us, I have this thing about the two words, that really stick with me is aspire and inspire. They're both verbs, but one is specific to you, which is aspire, which many of us try and turn into our why. But it's really, what do you aspire to do as a network marketer? What do you aspire to do with this business? Do you want it to be just something where you get your product for free or you get your product paid for? Do you want it to be $500 a month? Do you want it to be $1,000? Or the other thing is many of us get caught up in trying to inspire before we've even met any aspirations of our own. So in those two words is why I dug in with and I latched on to Australia, because out of all of those people I called, they were the ones the most responsive, along with a few others.
Well, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. And it's a terrific strategy that thing that you do with the two screens to actually identify a phone number and an email. Of course, I learned from you. Thank you for that. It's allowed me to have an email distribution list so that I can stay in touch with, over 100 people, of which I've only probably met 5 or 10 at the most. Right. And they all know what's happening in our team, because I make it a point to always grab every username and do exactly what you shared with us. So thank you again for that. And it's a great to pick up on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then the aspire-inspire difference, that's very profound. Don't try and inspire before you've achieved some of your own aspirations. I hadn't heard that before.
Look, just remember the word PAYS, P-A-Y-S.
Yeah.
And that is people, activity, and yourself. Because if you don't start with that, and you continually try to inspire, people are going to see through you.
Yeah.
They're going to see it.
Yeah.
And so just be real, be real with what your aspirations are, or your goals, or your whys. Be truthful to yourself, authentic. And, you said you went after the emails. You'd be surprised how many people I contacted by phone that really appreciated that phone call and that 15-minute conversation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure. Because no one had contacted them.
Exactly. Well, that's one of our failings, that several of us are going down to San Diego in a few days to meet with Costa and Dr. Rajan to talk about some mechanical things that are lacking in the way the company communicates with us about many things. And we saw that with Australia as well. But within the back office, when somebody new comes on board, somewhere in your downline, at least somebody upline needs to know about it. We don't have to search with a shovel way down in genealogy to get that information. It's kind of antiquated to have to do it that way. So there's a few like that we're going to be discussing, and hopefully get some commitment to change. I wanted to shift to another thing that you're very strong on, and that's social media and what you've been doing with customers. Because as far as I know, you're probably the first one within iGalen to have been pushing the customer acquisition in a big way, even before we had online ordering. So why don't you tell us about that little journey?
Well, I'm a big believer that, look, you got to build two ways, and it's not the fastest way. And unless you've got a large list of people that you've worked with in the past, you've got to go both ways. And look, the majority of people are not going to come into your business that you talk to. Why alienate them and not make them a customer? So here's one of the things that I did initially. Before I even ordered, I signed up back in February, I think February the 9th, and I had a very small list, but I took social media, and what I did is I posted something like this, and I basically try and teach new people to get a paid for business in the first 2 weeks. And what I did and what I teach is make a post that goes something like this. I'm going to test a brand new product that I'm really excited about that really targets inflammation and blood sugar. I have the opportunity to buy in bulk, and I'm going to pass those savings on to you. I'm looking for 10 to 20 people to test it with me. Well, I ran that campaign for about 7 days. By the time 7 or 8 days left, I had 12 people put their hand up and said yes. So by the time I was ready to say, okay, you need to send me your money, because what I did is at that time we didn't have a customer site. I said, look, send me your money. I'm going to place the order. So I had enough money to order 15 bottles, so I ordered 2 gold packs, one in my name, one in my wife's name. By the time they arrived, I had all of the shipping labels and the packaging ready to go for 19 bottles. They arrived on a Thursday night, they were all at the post office gone. Out of those 19, probably, well, there's Lauren sitting here, Fawn's one, probably 8 of them became distributors before they even received the bottle I sent them. And that's what I teach, is that you go with customer, introduce the product first, and then introduce the business.
That's one of the most powerful things I've heard in many years in networking. That was terrific.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have it on tape. Excellent. Now that we have the online ordering, what are you doing different?
Not much.
Are you still using that approach on social media?
I am still using that. I've shifted it a little bit because obviously I've been around, they've heard, yeah. I've been around it for 6 months, yeah. But I still, look, I'm a believer in that if I get 10 orders, I'll pick someone who's probably referred me a couple customers, and I'll call them. And I'll say, look, I have to order 10 bottles. What I would like to do is I would like to put you in the business. You pay the $30. And then what this will do is it'll allow you to buy your product for, if this promotion's going on, for somewhere between $55 to $52. And if you share it, you'll make some extra money. That's been highly effective for me.
So let me understand that. So if that person takes you up, pays the $29.95, he buys the gold pack, becomes a platinum on this promotion.
No, I buy the gold pack.
Oh, you buy in your name.
Yeah, what I know, I sign them up. I get their information.
Yeah.
I sign them up as a distributor. When I place the order, I use my credit card and have it shipped to me. They're not getting the product. They're getting a placement in the business.
Okay. So, okay. And so the product is still on your center. It's not downline. It's being bought through your business center.
Yeah, it's being bought through my business center, but I created a new distributor, which a couple of them have taken off.
Now, but the customers that you had, those 9 or 10 customers that were back behind this guy, were they his customers or yours?
No, they were mine.
Okay, so I don't get the benefit to him yet. I didn't.
There isn't. The only benefit to him is, or her,
Yeah.
is I'm putting them in the business
Right.
as a gold to platinum bump.
Ah, so that's what you're doing. They don't have the product, but they have the benefits of the 30% on fast start and 12.5 on the binary and all of that.
And I keep them in, as a customer, so I don't overwhelm them.
Got it.
Say, hey, look, you can buy your product $28 cheaper.
Right. Very, very.
And then I slowly introduce them to the business.
Very, very smart strategy. There's another one I haven't heard before. So it's a big learning tonight. Hopefully you guys are picking up on what John is teaching us tonight.
I mean, look, you have to have all 10 ready to go.
Yeah.
You have to collect the money.
Sure.
And so, I can, literally from US, anywhere in the US, I can ship a bottle for $3.75.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah. So it's worked out really well.
Very interesting strategy. So going forward, because we're at half an hour, I don't want to take up too much more time. What other gems would you like to offer? Let's talk for a minute about the number of your downline that are already committed to Las Vegas, for instance. How is that campaign coming?
So I've got myself and let's see, 1, 2, 3. I probably have 5 people coming to Las Vegas.
Excellent.
So, one thing that I will say to anyone, the more people that you can have there, you will have massive growth after. And because the excitement, not only the excitement, but it's all of us, to be able to rub shoulders with Jana, to be able to rub shoulders with you, to be able to find out what everybody's doing. And it's not the convention. Okay, the convention's going to be great. It's the after the convention. It's the convention within the convention. It's the group of us sitting in a group and just, some lounge chairs, just talking about business. It's, just learning different ideas, different strategies. What do you say to this person? How do you do this?
Right.
How did you get to Ruby so fast? I don't understand what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things so I believe that the importance of those events is meeting the people. That's really important. So the couple questions have popped up here. A couple of them have made comment. I've just noticed, John.
Yeah, I'm watching.
On my strategy of, putting someone in the business, someone posted, yes, I make $120. So I reduced my cost for that gold pack by $120. So I actually made more money with that. So that was one thing. And the other thing is, how do I ship for $3.75? I use the U.S. Post Office. I actually take the bottle out of the box. I have a special way. I put it in a little 6x8 bubble wrap, and I ship it, and it's $3.75 from the U.S. to anywhere in the U.S. Obviously, for me to, and I've shipped to Canada. Obviously, I can't do it that cheap, but look, it is time consuming to do that. So you have to put that in your day also. So, and then one of the last things I want to share with everybody is, many people think that you got to know everything or you got to know everything about the comp plan. I didn't know two squats about the comp plan. I've been in this business for 18 years. All I knew is I had to get started. And I had to get started now. I had the videos, I had my posts, and I had my mouth. And write these words down. Who, what, why, where, how. Those are questions that in this prospecting and this peaking that's all you have to do. How long you been living in, Alberta? How long, just ask questions. Once you start asking questions, some people talk to you for an hour. I flew from, I had to go to a funeral from Fort Myers to Cincinnati. My wife says, she goes, I don't know if I can sit next to you because I get my mouth going, talking. And she said, I'm sitting in front of you. And this lady, I started asking her questions. She answered I learned more about this lady. She opened up about how much money that she inherited from when her dad died. I knew it all. And I didn't tell her about Galen for an hour and a half. I just let her talk. So I knew who she was. So it's really important to know who you're talking to. It's not important to know everything. And as far as the comp plan, only pay attention to the retail profit, pay attention to your bonuses, your fast start bonuses, and your cycle pay. The rest of it, because that is the action step that takes you to section 4, 5, and 6. Without the action, you can't get to the other part of the comp plan. Jana does an excellent job of making 4, 5, and 6 the dream, or to help their aspirations, if you will. She does an excellent job with that. But the action comes from step 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, for sure. Picking up on your point of going on at the mouth, I've always had this expression, if you want to be successful in this business, you got to take your mouth off mute.
Yeah.
And many people are in mute because of fear or lack of interest. And the other thing is, our job is to be interested, not interesting.
Correct.
And the last thing with action, the 10 most powerful words in the English language strung together are all 2-letter words. Does anybody know what they are?
One would be no.
Well, okay, so just catch this. If it is to be,
right,
it is up to me. There's only 2 letters in each of those 10 words, and that's the essence of this business. If it's going to happen, you got to make it happen.
And remember this, no is a complete sentence.
That's great. Yeah. So the other thing is, most of the questioning, when you ask who, what, where, why, you want to make sure that your questions do not lead to just yes or no. You want questions that lead to open-ended answers.
Correct.
So you can then ask, so tell me more about what that would feel like. Or if that were to happen, then what? Always keep moving deeper and wider. And then obviously the woman that you were sitting next to on the plane, I bet you if she was interviewed after you left, she would say about you, what a wonderful person. And literally, she knew nothing about you because she heard herself talk the whole time and you listened. And that's why you were Mr. Wonderful.
And she left on.
That's the secret.
She left the plane with a bottle of Emulan.
There you go, of course.
And just so you know what I did the whole time was she was talking, I reached down in my duffel bag.
Yeah.
I reached down and got a bottle of Amulin after I knew that she wouldn't need C. I pulled out a bottle of M and I just put it on my lap. I didn't even say a word.
Right.
And I just left it there.
Yeah. Well, John, listen, I think this has been one of our best interviews, and I really want to thank you for being willing to participate and to share so freely and openly. And I think many people, when they hear the replay, will agree with you on the line for everybody. So thank you again so much.
Well, you're welcome.
And the recording will be up and posted by later tonight. Brent Gill does a good job for me. And then if all failing, you can always go to Debbie Ward's new YouTube channel called Everything I Galen, and you will find all of our recordings on that channel. Subscribe so that you can get the benefit of all the good work. So Australia, call tomorrow with Rajen and Dory and Jana, I'm sure, at 5 o'clock Pacific time. So that's Los Angeles time. Important call. It's on Dory's join.me link. It was posted on Messenger, and I'm sure it's going to be posted in many other things. And maybe your team leaders have passed it on down. So that's
10 a.m. Saturday in Australia.
In Australia, 10 a.m. Saturday morning, not 4, John.
Yeah, I know. I figured it out. I had it backwards.
Okay, guys, it's a wrap.
Thank you, John.
Thanks very much. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.